Again, a warm welcome to everyone who is here. We're still waiting for some latecomers, but that's okay. And we're just going to start with the presentation. Actually, I'm going to give a little introduction to the SAFE movement. I'm sure so many of you already know a lot about the SAFE movement, so I don't want to go too much into detail. However, the presentation is also focused on the aspects of love-based activism, and we'll show 3 examples where we really could get somewhere with our love-based approach that the SAFE movement has. Okay, let's get it started. First, a little bit about myself. I've been now 8 years vegan. I've been, before that, 15 years vegetarian. Now I'm officially touring for the SAFE movement. I'm a full-time animal rights activist, and I'm a regional liaison for Switzerland, Germany, and Austria for the SAFE movement. And I organize Vienna Animal Safe, Vienna Fur Animal Safe, and AV Vienna when I'm in Vienna. So nowadays I have co-workers, which is great. All right, so today, what will we talk about? We'll talk a little bit about the beginning of the SAFE movement. We'll talk about what we do, how we do it, why we do it. We will talk about what bearing witness exactly is. We'll show a few videos. And then we'll go into the 3 examples of the love-based approach. And in the end, I don't have to tell you to get active, but I will make a little announcement how to get active with the SAFE movement. So most of you know, am I actually standing in front of it, or is it okay for you to see? Yeah? So here you can see Anita and her beloved dog, Mr. Bean. These are the 2 co-founders of the SAFE movement. Anita was always very certain, saying that she's a co-founder and her companion animal is the other co-founder, because it happens to be that she realized that there was a slaughterhouse in the middle of Toronto when she was walking with her dog. And one day she was walking with her dog, and she would see the trucks arrive, and she would see the pigs, and then her dog would go there, and then she would look at the dog and the pigs and the dog and the pigs, and she would realize that there is no difference between her dog and these poor animals in the trucks. And she was sort of surprised that in the middle of Toronto there's a slaughterhouse, which now luckily is closed. To cut the story short, she made a vow to herself to bear witness from that moment on, and so she did. And from 2011 on, they started with Toronto Pig Safe, and nowadays, 2018, we have more than 430 SAFE groups worldwide, which is so amazing, and we are constantly growing. And there are so many SAFE organizers in the audience today, so that's exciting. And we all try, I think, as a community to help build the movement and spread the word. So that's how everything started. So Mr. Bean is the co-founder, Anita is the co-founder. Now we want to show you a vigil from Barcelona. A few of you have been there together with us. We've done a 5-day vigil in Barcelona. Seb is here representing the Barcelona crew. Everyone, this is Seb. It's awkward. And my partner James made this video for the SAFE movement, and it really shows how a 5-day vigil can look like, and it shows the essence of bearing witness. Yeah. What's that? Make, yeah, I wish. Okay. So what does the Safe Movement do? Safe Movement do? Yeah, we hold vigils, as you have just seen. We are very present on social media. That's actually a big part of the Safe Movement, is to not only be there for the animals at the vigil, but also to share the individual stories of the animals online. We do rescues whenever possible, so that's always a possibility, and we'll talk about that a little later on. We try to open new groups, whether you're a safe organizer in your little region or whether you work for the Safe Movement officially. We all try to encourage other people to also start opening a safe group. We have the regional liaisons, like I'm for the German-speaking countries, for example, or SEP is for the Spanish-speaking countries, and so on. And so we try to encourage a big group of people to participate and to become part of the movement. We do the SAFE tours. We just now me and James and Seb gonna start our SAFE tour in Germany in a couple of days. So that's what we do. We really go places and try to be active. And we try to support the community organizing. As most of you know that already organized, we try to provide knowledge and you know, all the extra work that one needs, like the, I never know the word for this, the people who do the graphic design, logo design, and all these things. So there's a lot of support within the movement. And we do vegan outreach also on the streets. We go to universities. Something that really works well is having the virtual reality classes, and that's really effective. And we go to animal rights conferences, we go to veg fests, so that's what the Safe Movement does. How we do it, I love this part. We are love-based, we're non-violent, which means that we always remain not only physically but also verbally non-violent as much as possible, obviously. We are a grassroots movement, which means everyone is invited to participate and take part in it. Nevertheless, we are very professional. As I just mentioned, we have a huge team in Canada, but also in Europe, that tries to support each group. So it's possible to participate and do your own, like start your own group, but you get the support from the movement. We are an inclusive group, which means that everyone is invited to participate, whether your religion, your gender, your whatever. So even non-vegans obviously are invited to come to vigils, because we believe if we invite everyone, everyone has the opportunity to open their eyes to what is happening to the animals. And so if we invite non-vegans, for example, it's a good chance for people to make the connection that we have gladly already made. And that also means that we invite other groups, like any type of animal rights group or environmental group to the vigils to participate, and we try to also go to any other animal rights groups while we are, for example, touring. So we always try to work together with other groups. We are authentic and honest in our approach, which means that we don't try to lie and mislead people. So when we go to the slaughterhouse, as much as possible, we try to be honest and say to them, look, we are here for the animals, we want to say goodbye to the animals. And there's a way of coming around it. Like, for example, myself, I don't always tell people I'm an animal rights activist. I say I'm an animal lover, and that just resonates better with them because they have their ideas on activists. So I'm not lying, I am an animal lover. So that's a way to go a bit around it. But it's up to you. You can be completely honest. There's nothing to not mention. We can be honest. We have only pure motives, and we are love-based, so that's good. And we try to lead by example, obviously. So when we go and when we bear witness with the animals, we try to encourage others doing the same thing. So that's what we do. And there's the big part of social media that is very important here. So I guess most of you really do know, but I want to emphasize, what does bearing witness actually mean? It means to show love and compassion to another being for the first and last time, most of the time in their lives. It means to being present in the face of injustice and to trying to help as much as we can, whatever that means. Maybe we can do a rescue, maybe we can just make those moments a bit easier for the animals. And maybe we can't help at all those animals that we bear witness with, but we might help their brothers and sisters in the long run. It's, as I just mentioned, supporting the animals on their last steps, which can be very hard on us, but it's also very empowering to see the effect that you can have on the animal. And we'll have the examples in a few minutes that will really showcase that. So we want to give comfort, positivity as much as possible. So many people always worry about whether or not they can stay positive at a vigil. And in my experience, and I see it more and more now that I'm on tours and see other people bearing witness, I see some positivity, like a light shining from our hearts. I know it sounds a bit corny, but I really do feel like when we are with these animals that suffer so much in front of our eyes, it gives us a certain strength to give the animals the kind of comfort and love we would give to a sick person, a sick friend, a sick grandma or father or whoever dealing with an illness, for example. So we try to give everything we can, love and positivity, as much as we would do with any other loved one. So why do we bear witness in the end? We don't want to ignore someone who is suffering, literally in front of our eyes. We want to show human love and compassion to the animals. It's simple and accessible. I can't emphasize that enough. It's not that hard to once in a while get up early in the morning and go to a vigil. These days, there's groups almost everywhere, and if they are not, then you have to organize a vigil yourself. However, it's not that hard to get up in the morning. I even have friends in Austria who are still students, 16 years old. They go on vigils with me, and at 7:45 they say, off to school, bye. And I'm just impressed by that, because they have a whole day of school ahead, or they have exams and all these things, and maybe some of you are still studying, or you have a busy job or busy personal family life, whatever it is. If we can make a little bit of time for the animals, that's the least we can do, I think. And if you can't, for whatever personal reason, then it would be beautiful if you could share the activists' stories and videos and stuff they took. Yeah, the industry, as we all know, I don't have to tell you guys, operates in secrecy. So that means that we have to show what is really, really happening. And it has a huge effect. Maybe you have experienced that as well. When I started going to vigils, I was already 7 years vegan by then. My family, for the first time, connected differently to my vegan outreach on them because they saw me with these animals, and they never expected these animals to look the way they do when they arrive at the slaughterhouse. Or my grandma, she's 92 years old, bless her, she made a vegan goulash for me, a vegan birthday cake, what else? Something else. So she's amazing, 92, makes vegan dishes, it's great. Anyways, she told me, no animal is suffering when they get killed. They get, what's the word? So that they don't feel the pain. What is the stunned? Or, yeah, exactly. And I said to my grandma, I'm sorry to tell you, but I was there and I saw it and they scream. And if I wouldn't have been there, I could have never ever said that to her because I wouldn't have known for sure. Because I can tell her all I want about what I've seen in videos or heard from people, but if her granddaughter, who she loves and trusts, tells her that with her own ears she heard and with her own eyes she saw, it makes a huge difference, and that's something to really focus on. So we have to show what's really happening in this industry. And I also believe, or we believe, it's a duty, it's a responsibility to act on this catastrophe that is happening right now. So we really need to do something. We can't keep quiet or can't, close our eyes to it, because we have the knowledge of what's happening indeed. We want to understand and provide an animal's point of view. So with the Safe movement, you see when you have the signs, for example, or when we do the little advertisement on Facebook and stuff, it's always written from the animal's, or not always, but most of the time it's written from the animal's point of view, just to make people have that connection. That's really powerful. We want to reduce suffering. We'll talk about that in a minute. We try to rescue. We'll talk about that in a minute. And we form a personal connection to the animals. And as a vegan and an animal lover, I can tell you and guarantee you guys, it's amazing how you can bond with an animal. And I've been thinking about that, I think yesterday. I don't know how many of you have been traveling with your backpack and stuff, and maybe some of you fell in love with that idea of traveling and getting to know new places and new people. And sometimes I travel and I spend an hour in a hostel with someone amazing, and that connection, that conversation stuck with me for ages, or maybe for the rest of my life. These pure, beautiful connections you make with people. I've experienced that when traveling with my backpack. Here's the connection that I want to point out. Sometimes I spend maybe an hour, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 hours with an animal. Those connections I form, those bonds I make with these animals, I will never ever forget them. And all of the animals I spend time with, bearing witness, I keep them in my heart, and they give me the fuel to do my activism. Whenever I'm tired and I don't want to go to a vigil, or I'm scared of giving a presentation, or I'm scared of doing a live video on Instagram, hell to the no, I remember those animals that I love so dearly and bear witness with, or to, or whatever the expression is, and they remind me why I'm doing this. So the personal connections one forms are incredible. And again, we want to inspire activism. That's why we bear witness as well. So there's a famous quote that's been used quite often in the Safe movement by Leo Tolstoy. When the suffering of another creature causes you to feel pain, do not submit to the initial desire to flee from the suffering one, but on the contrary, come closer as you can to him who suffers, and try to help him or her. That's the essence of the Safe movement and of bearing witness and holding vigils. Great, so we'll go now into the 3 examples of the power of love-based activism. The first example will be stinging pigs asleep in the slaughterhouse. The second one will be saying goodbye to baby lambs in the slaughterhouse. And the third one will be chicken rescues at vigils. So the first example takes place in Vienna. We got into the slaughterhouse and, hello, we got into the slaughterhouse. Find yourself a seat if you want some brekkie, it's over there. So we were allowed to be inside the slaughterhouse for several hours, for 5 hours, as often as we want, actually. And the question I always get is, like, how on earth did you get inside a slaughterhouse? Like, who would let you in? Activists. So I can only say it's love-based persistence, which means I wrote a lovely email, no reply. I wrote another lovely email, no reply. I made a lovely phone call. The wife of the slaughterer picked up. I had a nice conversation with her. I went there. I called them again and I said, I'm standing in front of your door and I would love to come in and just introduce myself, blah, blah, blah. In fact, he let me in and then we had a really lovely conversation, and whenever he said something that was like a little bit heart-wrenching inside, I just thought, it's okay, he is not there yet, try for the animals. And I kept being nice and understanding. So what really, really helps when you deal with slaughterhouse workers or owners or just the industry in total is to try to have a non-judgmental attitude towards them. Why? Because in the end, it will help the animals. If you, for whatever ego reasons, can't do it because you think they are so horrible, I advise you to open your heart a little bit and try to see it from a different perspective. Not only does I think everyone deserves to be treated with kindness, but also we're doing this for the animals, so keep that in mind always. So we try to build rapport and ask questions about the slaughterhouse owner. He told us about his health struggles. Whenever I now see him, I always go back to that statement of his months ago and ask how his ear is, because I remember he told me about that, and he actually appreciates me. Hey, he appreciates me. There's breakfast if you want, and then you can sit down. He appreciates me asking him how he's doing. He feels validated. What's the word? Valuated? Yeah, valued. So we want to show love for all beings, not just for the animals that we so deeply and first and foremost care so much about, but also we want to show compassion towards other human animals. So I showed an open heart, an open mind. I was interested in him personally. And it's really wise to always make sure to say that you're not against someone personally, but against the industry. That really, really helps. Keep that in mind. Also, if you struggle to deal with slaughterhouse workers, slaughterhouse owners, keep in mind, this is just one person. It's the whole industry we are against. And then what is really important is to see someone beyond the profession. Obviously, someone kills my best friends. How am I going to feel about that person? But what really helps, and I didn't meet the Dalai Lama, but I was lucky enough to listen to the Dalai Lama when he came to Vienna. And he said something that really stuck with me, which was, if you can't connect with people, try to think of the basic things you have in common with them. You came to this earth, you walk on this earth together, and maybe that's about it you have in common with a slaughterhouse owner. Who knows? Maybe there's a bit more. He has a mum, you have a mum, and so on and so forth, right? But it makes it a bit easier to connect. We are all earthlings. We all want to find happiness, and so on and so forth. And what also helps is, and I'm sure most of you know, is to bring vegan gifts. It doesn't hurt. Bring a vegan cake or some candy or something. It's really nice to, spoil them a little bit and show them how nice we are. It does help indeed. So what exactly happened in Vienna? We were bearing witness for 5 hours. We got amazing footage. Amazing is the wrong word. Touching footage. Powerful footage. And we produced a viral video that James will later on show. I won't show it now. And the video by now got, I think, 2 million views. And it turned people vegan. We got so many messages by people saying, no more meat, thank you so much, how can I get active? I'm turning vegan. That is amazing. I mean, think about it. We just went into a slaughterhouse, did what we do for our hearts or for the animals, and then you reach per accident 2 million people. That's amazing. And not only did people go vegan afterwards, but they went active, and that's what we need in this movement. So I do want to show one video. However, it's not the viral video, it's just one of the videos where you can see how we spent hours with the pigs. And literally what you can see is, in this case, me petting a pig, and in the background there's already slaughtering happening. Okay.
Lena, may I ask something?
Yes.
You said you called them and you visited the slaughter. Was it at slaughterhouse or did you call and visit at the home?
I called at the slaughterhouse, which is the office, and they also live there. So, yeah. She was telling me her husband is slaughtering animals at the moment, so that was the phone call.
And did you ask if you could take photos and video inside?
Yeah, that's something I want to also talk about. So I didn't, out of strategic reasons. I think it's not good to see. And we also would like to take photos and we would like to make a viral video of your animals. It's like, when you arrive there, you're like, maybe could we take some photos? However, I also try to be honest with that man because I don't want to use him, you know? So I said to him, like, if it would be okay to take videos, if you are okay with the videos, I can use them, and if not, then I won't use them. So, and again, as nicer as you come across, the more he wants to please you as well, I believe, or in my experience. Sky is here with me. So we were the first time going into this on the kill floor together, and it will forever bond with each other. It was horrible. So we went already 2 times on the kill floor in that same slaughterhouse. The second time was with Joshua Entis, and that was amazing because we got so much. Joshua has such a huge following, so many people tuned in from his live videos and so on and so forth. And it's just another connection people can make. So it's one thing to show the animals while they are still alive, and then it's the second thing to show them getting killed. So we had viral live streams and so on, and many amazing activists promoted our video. Actually, all of the big names like James Espy, Troy Capstrong and so on, Earthing Ads, they all said, like, watch that video of the slaughterhouse footage. The kill floor footage, actually. And now it's used for AV worldwide, I think. This is a question for you guys. Do you want to see it's a 3 minutes clip of the kill floor, or do you think? So can we have a no? Hands up for no? Okay. Okay. The rest would be interesting. Okay. Can those people just leave for 3 minutes? Thank you. Where is it? Should we turn the lights down? Or is it okay? Thank you for watching. We believe it's important because it makes us fight harder in our experience. Okay, I want to make this a bit shorter because we're short on time and some people came late, so we started later.
You still got 10 minutes.
Okay. Another scenario that I want to share is about lamps in Spain, and this is a bit of a easier story, I think, to digest. So what happened? We were 3 activists. It was me and my best friend Carol from Toronto, and Mia from Barcelona, Animal Safe. And we decided to just walk on the private ground of a slaughterhouse. It maybe wasn't the smartest decision, but it was an impulse that we couldn't resist, and it felt right. So what happened? How did we end up in the lamb slaughterhouse? So we decided to walk and hold hands. So we were 3 girls holding hands, walking inside the slaughterhouse at night. Sorry, it was the ground. It wasn't the slaughterhouse, it was the private ground. We finally found a worker there, and we approached him, and first he was really rude, and he was like, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here, you need to leave." However, we were, again, lovely but persistent, and so we said, "We're just here for the animals, we would love to see the animals, and you can, if you want to, it's your decision, if you want to use that or not. I don't mind doing it. I use a bit of charm and a bit of, not flirtiness, but I'm in general quite love-based, so I just try to speak from my heart and just, argue my way in there." And first it didn't work at all, then he got another worker, and then I asked for their names so that I could address them personally. And when I do ask for names, which I always do as a strategy, I use their names like in a row. Like at the end of the day, they think we're best buddies because so many times I use their names when in the conversation. And I also am quite a physical person, so I also come close and I take them on the arm and like, "Please let us in." These kind of techniques, I don't know, that are just showing some open heart. I don't know what you want to call that. And also we try to be really peaceful with not only our chosen words, but also with our expressions. Like, what really helps if you do something that is not even legal is if you smile. Because someone who smiles doing something illegal doesn't look that much like a person that you should watch out for. We're just smiling, they're standing there holding hands, like kind of like this. But why? Because we needed to be there with the animals. And what I don't mind, there's a German saying, da fällt mir kein Zacken aus der Krone. I won't translate it because I don't know the translation, but what is my ego gonna do? Like, who cares? If I have to be a bit of a baby to get in, I don't mind doing that at all. So lovely persistence again, and building relationships, trying to speak from your heart and make people realize how important it is to you. So we were allowed in, and here you see Carol with the baby lamb. So our strategy was to distract the workers inside, and for one person or maximum 2 of us 3 to take footage of the animals and bear witness wholeheartedly. And that worked well. And also we could use that moment to actually educate the workers on why we are vegan activists, why do we care about the animals, why one shouldn't slaughter them, and so on and so forth. So that was really impressive to see that we could even have a conversation with those people. And what really happened in there is that they didn't necessarily care yet about the animals. However, they felt empathy for us humans, or human animals, for us girls. And because we were so sad and we cried and we were so touched by what was happening with the baby lambs, they felt a connection to us, and via us they felt a connection to the animals because they could see how much we cared for the animals. So even though maybe they in the beginning don't for themselves care for the animals, they see someone that they care so much for the animals, it makes them almost care for the animals too. It was an interesting cycle, it was really interesting to witness. Yeah, exactly what I just said. So through our empathy, they also understood a bit more. We did ask to rescue a lamb, obviously, and we tried and tried and tried, but they wouldn't give us the lamb. And there's a really important lesson here. They offered us to buy the lamb, and I was a very fresh activist, and I was already counting my money in my mind. But Carol, who was more experienced than me, said, we don't ever pay for animals to get rescued. you don't ever buy an animal. Why? Because if you buy one animal, you ensure the place of 2 other animals. So that animal is already deemed to die, and if you pay for that animal because of your own personal connection you form to this one animal, you pay the industry to continue the horrible work. So as much as we want, because we form personal connections to the animals, as much as we want to save those that we love so deeply, it's not advised, it's not suggested for anyone. Here's Christina, our dear friend, also from Barcelona Animal Safe. When we go to that slaughterhouse, the chicken slaughterhouse, we quite often, if not always, I don't know how it is these days, we quite often...
Depends on the energy.
It depends on the energy. Well, when I was there with my energy, we all... No, I'm joking, but we do get to save some animals quite often there. And again, it's a lovely persistence. I can't tell you how many times they shook their heads and told me, you won't get a chicken from me today. And I kept standing there, and again, I just stood there and I continued to be nice, and I just tried to tell them how much it would mean to me if they could spare a life. And there's something I call the pistol effect, which sounds weird. But have you ever heard if someone is shooting around, like a mass shooting, and you're supposed to tell them something personal because then they make a connection to you? Have you ever heard that? If there's a mass shooting or someone has a pistol in front of you, you have to tell them your name and whatever, something personal. So I do that when I'm at a vigil and I talk to the slaughterhouse workers. I just tell them stuff about myself so that they can't help but form a bond with me. So I tell them where I'm from, and I care so much about animals, and I came all the way from Vienna, I flew in here yesterday. I tell them everything they don't want to know, and they never ask me. However, if I tell them much about me, they somehow feel like, oh, might as well just help this girl out. She's like, a bit weird. And it does help though, it does. And again, you can ask for names to make a better connection. And what I always like to say is that make them give you the gift of kindness, because we all know how good it feels to give someone a present or to support someone. It feels freaking good. So if you invite them and if you make it so easy for them, you tell them like, look, it's just another chicken for you, isn't it? It's just a couple of cents. If you would give me that chicken, it would make my world. It would change my life. Who can say no to that? Not many people. So try to give them the gift of kindness. So it's the beauty of using the power for good, because whether or not you want to see that they have power, that's up for debate, but to some extent they have power because they are the ones who keep the animals and you want the animals, so I think they do have power indeed. However, power feels good for people, but I think that for most people it feels better to do something good with their own power, at least in my experience. So try to make them be part of the animal rescue. What I always tell people that help me rescue animals is, you just rescued a life today. Go home, tell your children, tell your partner, you just rescued a life, and be proud of it. You did an amazing job, you helped us so much. And people really feel like a bit of empowerment, and they're like, oh yeah, indeed, I did. And so you can really play with it, and you can invite people to become kinder and supportive of animal rescue. And there's a pride in helping. I want to come to the end. There's a beautiful picture of Mary. I don't have to tell you, do I? Get active, participate in vigils, start a safe group if there isn't a safe group around you. And if you, for whatever reason, I'm bad at this, but if you can't participate or if something is across the world, share the videos. It helps so much, especially if you have a huge following. Share, share, share. That's how the community works. And speak up for the animals like you would someone to speak up for you. Thank you. And now, we do have time, or don't we, for a quick Q&A? We do have time. Great.